we go. Oh, let's change the setting real quick. Welcome everybody to Lambdas will roll live. We are live here from the LUL Open Man. We've been talking about it for quite a while now. I'm here with my co-host Fernando, and we have our other co-hosts on the mat somewhere. You can see right now, and the camera setting right there. They're going live. So welcome, and we're just here to touch base, and we just got done going for about an hour, 45 minutes of nice rolling. And we're just going to be here just to talk to you guys a little bit about what's going on for tonight. We have a great crowd, as you can see from the other camera. Brothers from different levels, brothers from different areas. We have a few people from Maryland. Myself and Fernando came up from Maryland. And it's really nice to see brothers coming together.
Some as far south as Florida.
Far south is Florida, and we have different levels. We have black belts all the way to white people who never even tried it before. And the beautiful thing right now is we have two sessions going on. We have the brothers that are close to the camera, just rolling, they're just sparring. And on the far side, we have some of the higher belts teaching some of the new guys who come in for the first time. So what do you think, Fernando?
It's been great. A lot of, you can tell the amount of work that some of the Hermanos have put in. They are some tough roles.
Right?
Yeah, it was not easy at all. Yeah, I've learned a lot. I actually just learned a straight ankle lock. Somebody told me that right before we went live. So, it's something that I never really tried to do the dark art of the leg lock, so to speak, but it's something that I would like to definitely incorporate. I see that that's become like the future of, well, it's not even the future, it's now. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I mean, you got white belts trying.
Exactly. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's great. It's funny thing, we have one of our brothers who came in with like, what are the rules for today? Can I start leg locking people?
Heel hooking.
Bro, you just started 4 months ago.
Yeah.
But see, that's the passion that people have just to learn the art. And back in the day, I remember when I first started about 12 years ago, really didn't really focus on that because it was limited to the lower ranks. And in most tournaments, it is still today. Mm-hmm. But I think it's more accepted now to train leg locks, submitting, ankle locks, leg locks, knee bars, stuff like that, heel hooks, and obviously under the controlled environment, right? So it's interesting to see the evolution. I should have said, man. So, what was your best role so far? Would you go with the guitar?
I would say, definitely Louis Gill, obviously first degree black belt, but also too one of your students, Brandon Ordonez. I mean, wow. I mean, actually, he's the one who taught me, was teaching me how to do the straight up ankle lock. I mean, he's legit.
I got to roll one round with Brandon, and he was definitely good guard. He was going for that single leg X really nicely. He got really deep underneath me, and even at one moment, I found myself kind of almost getting triangled. I ended up, really escaping, but it's just me in that position with someone who's been training maybe almost 2 years now. To see that level of transitioning, the quickness and the speed is amazing. To see some of these guys have evolved, so it's great. Yeah, I got to roll with Pre, really solid.
I did see that.
Solid.
It was a
really good back and forth. Gabe from Virginia came out from Maryland area too. Purple belt out in Maryland. Yeah, he had a really good game as well. It was nice back and forth. So, but yeah, it's amazing. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna just touch base with some hermanos here. We're gonna call them in, and sit in between us, and just kind of give us a little insight of what they've experienced so far. The reasons for coming, just kind of get to know a little bit of the guys who've been here, kind of almost following a Sunday session. Since we have so many hermanos here, we wanted to get a chance to just meet with some of them. So we'll talk to some of them.
Yeah,
what else we got?
I don't want to send them to
the yeah, I was gonna say yes. I'm all over the place. I'm trying to think.
I'm like, should I be here? Or should I go roll? I mean, you can see that nice sweat right now. Yeah, it's a lot going on right now.
Yeah, I mean, we got I'm looking at the mat right now.
Let's see if we get somebody over here. Let's see who we got. Anybody around there?
What about is that
Gurpreet? Hey, Gurpreet. Are you rolling? Come on in. We got Gurpreet here. We scoot over a little bit. We can make some more for Gurpreet. But yeah, and I'm excited, man. This is a beautiful thing to come and offer some of the guys some jiu-jitsu. Come on, sit on the podcast is live, and we're gonna just get a chance to talk to everybody. So we got Gurpreet right here. Tell us a little bit about yourself. You know, where are you from?
Yeah.
Where you train?
Okay, no problem. So yeah, my name is Gurpreet Singh. I'm from Carteret, New Jersey, which is like right next to Broadway and Woodbridge. No one really knows where that is, to be honest. And I train here at Roll Star BJJ with under Diego's gym at Hackensack.
That's what's up. So what got you into jiu-jitsu, real quick?
So there's this brother named Matthew Colacino, who's a he's a martial artist. He's a black belt in Taekwondo, and we were living at the same house on campus, and he was like, "Oh, I'm really interested in BJJ," and so he just brought mats around and he used me as a dummy for a little bit, for like a month. I was like, "Yo, this is actually pretty fun." So we went to Diego's gym, we tried it out, and we went to like an open mat with like a bunch of different people, not necessarily from this gym, and it was a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun. I sweat it all out, and I stuck with it for a little bit. I saw myself, you lose weight, get better mentally, physically, and I was like, you know what, this is it. Like, it's gonna be my hobby.
How long you been training now? How long ago?
I think I started in October 2019, and I took a little break because of Corona, and I would say like a year and a half around there.
What is So you mentioned several open mats.
Yeah.
What is the thing that sticks out the most? What's like the biggest takeaway you get from every time you come to an open mat?
Yeah, it's really so you know how you train with the same people every day. It's you don't know whether you're actually improving or whether they're just getting used to your techniques. So I really liked trying out the different techniques I've learned in class, seeing what I could get people with. It's almost like a competition in terms of like they don't know what I'm about to do, but it's just like less serious. Obviously, you get to have fun with it.
And do you feel like the fact that you have that camaraderie with different hermanos, it makes it a little bit easier to train on a consistent basis, because you have that already, that built-in camaraderie within the fraternity and things like that. Like, does that help you in your training?
Yeah, I mean, like I said before, it was an hermano who helped me, who got me started. I went to an hermano's gym, it's because of those people that I even got started, and like they just made me more comfortable. I always wanted to do martial arts, like ever since I was a kid. Like I wanted to do karate, I wanted to do taekwondo and stuff like that. But I was always just so shy because I was like, I don't know where to start. I don't know what to do, like what gym to go to. Like, I would have started on a blank slate, but with Roll Star, it's like I'm starting off with people that I know in my fraternity and so on. Like it's just a very nice vibe, and it's also like a lot of banter now because we're so familiar with each other from the beginning. So that definitely helped. Yeah.
And who would you say would be your toughest role today? With about the 45 minutes or an hour that we've been rolling.
Yeah.
Like, who would you say was your toughest role today?
Oh, definitely none. I just rolled it and he wouldn't move.
Actually, that was a good scrap. I was watching you guys. Yeah, it was a really good scrap.
All right, awesome. Yeah, no, that's good to know. I mean, like, I was trying to scissor sweep and he literally wouldn't move. I was like, he's like a rock.
Yeah, it's a tough. Yeah, he got a very strong base.
Yeah, it was fun though. Yeah.
Do you have any experience for like different hermanos who might be watching that is interested in potentially coming out to an open mat, but just haven't been able to, like, any words for them or words of encouragement?
Experience. I mean, one thing I'll say is not for everyone, but it's always good to try new things. Definitely go about. I feel like you should definitely go about life trying new things, and you should definitely give this, like, at least Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, a little bit like a chance before you come to a judgment that you don't like it or whatever. Whatever. If you are interested in UFC, MMA, everyone uses this. It's actually applicable. So I think that also kind of helped me, like, it reassured me that what I'm doing is not going to be useless. I'm not just doing this for the sweat. It's actually going to be a good technique.
Absolutely. And speaking of technique, what would be your favorite technique that you like to do in the year and a half that you've been practicing? What's your favorite? What's your go-to move? What do you like to do when you're rolling?
Usually I start with like a Nika slide.
Okay.
I like to go for that. And if I can't get a knee on belly, recently we learned the north-south choke.
Okay.
I like that. I've been getting that a lot recently. I just get in that position, and it's like a lot of fun. And obviously, I want to take the back and potentially submit from there. I feel like that's the best position, the most dominant position. If you could get to the back, yeah. So like, it's just that's what you want to get. You want to leave there and be like, are they good or I have things to improve. And I always want to get to the back or not. So.
I don't want to get you cold, man. I know you want to go back and roll.
No problem.
Thank you so much, brother.
Yeah, thank you. I got the.
That's all good,
All
brother.
good. Yeah.
All right, next we're going to have our guest from last week, the last show. We have Pacheco, who's actually in person with us. Pacheco, let's get you right here, brother.
Right here.
I see him.
So you either make
Yeah,
time
man.
for your health or make time for your illness. Either way, you make
Deep
time.
advice, brother. So, what do you think so far?
So far, so good, man. Just getting in there. You're probably in the beginning. Trying to keep up with the young ones.
That's what's up, man. Have any good roles so far?
Oh, yes. I got to go. And that person, oh my God. Omar.
Oh,
You know, got folded in half by everybody else.
oh yeah, he's a tough one. Yeah, absolutely. No, definitely. He's a tough one, man. So you've been to a couple open mats, right?
Been to all of them. All of them. Except for the one that you guys had to review.
Maryland. We're gonna have one soon in Maryland. We're hoping to target the middle of the So for the buzz, I mean, I know that we shared it last week on our show, but probably some brothers didn't catch it, and now we're here live going through the experience right now. So this setting, what is the greatest benefit that you take away from this?
Learn a little bit from everybody. So here I was over here working with some new guys, I was teaching them some basic positions, and then you get to run with a black belt, purple belt. It's just getting to learn a little bit everything. Share experience. That's the most important thing, that you can share different experiences and you can see how, depending on how they roll. Just learning a lot. Just trying to get everything.
Did you get a chance to show some of the new guys some techniques?
Yes. The Upa, we get side control, homoplata. No, homoplata.
Okay.
So,
No baseball choke yet?
No, not yet. They're all new, so not yet. That'll be for the classic, July 31st.
Well, thank you so much, brother, for coming through, man. It's a pleasure to see you. And we gotta chat a little bit more before we go. Come on, Joe. Man, so 2 bodies in, you know, we're having a good time, and we're gonna try to get some more hermanos out here. But what else, man? What else we got?
Well,
I know you ain't tired yet.
No, not yet. I was early, but not now.
You got-
I've been able to reviewing it. Yeah, it was interesting to just to like talk to Grand Prix, like learning like different like what's his favorite technique and things like that. That's something like like just curious to see like what goes into different people's games. Is it due to like their body type or things like that, or based on like their experience? So that's something I forgot to ask Pacheco that earlier too. Like what was his favorite technique? Because that's something that I would like to, see like what's working for different roles and maybe see if that can incorporate into my game and I could take it back, I could, and progress my game.
It's funny. We've had 7 episodes already, and we really haven't talked to each other about our game. So
Absolutely.
You're here. What are you working on right now? What are you trying to improve on?
So I've been pretty much I've trying to chain different attacks. So definitely passing guard to try to get to knee on belly with the hope to try to take a step over the head to work on an Americana. A Kimura, sorry. And if that doesn't work, to try to transition into an arm bar. So I'm just trying to work on different arm attacks and things. So that's what I've been working on. Fortunately, with these guys that these killers out there, I haven't been able to drill that technique yet.
It's not working.
But yeah, it's not working right now. But it will get there.
Absolutely, and that's the beautiful thing, right? The more you keep on drilling it, the more you keep on training in that particular move, eventually it becomes second nature, and you start hitting it. For me, man, at this level, I kind of feel like I'm a white belt again. It feels like nothing's working, but I know that right now what I'm trying to work on is really sequence my passing a little bit more. I've been playing a lot of side to side, dragging the leg a little bit more, trying to connect the drags, going from one side to the other side, and trying to get to a really dominant position, and work my sequence. So for me, my sequence is the pass, try to take the back, and go to the Coronado. I know I got you a couple times on Coronado.
All the time. So yeah, that's a good thing actually about taking the back. So recently, like we've been doing like kind of like a competition type class, and we're just preparing somebody for like a sub only contest, and we've been like working starting from like taking the back. Now, like I realize, like as a blue belt, like I'm still like relatively new, to it. So like when I'm in that position, like I realize like I feel like my legs are too short, like trying to do like a body triangle. So immediately when they, like try to kill one leg, I find myself like trying to give up the back to like trying to get into mount and stuff like that. Like, what would you for somebody like me who's new to like back takes and things like that? Like, what would you think? You think I should be more like focused on like trying to like distract with like different collars? Like what would you do for anybody that's like?
Well, I mean, I think if you can secure the back, which sounds like you do, but maybe the guy's defending a little bit, and I definitely get what you mean about trying to go for the body triangle. It's hard for me to do so being like that, I'm sure, but in order for I definitely focus on making sure that I keep the control. If I can get to the back and I have my seat fabric and I have my two hooks in, I definitely try to keep it as much as possible.
Okay.
And I don't shy of taking the hooks out and putting them on the hips.
Okay.
If you put them on the hips, you can kind of feel where the person is moving, what direction they're going, so you can kind of keep with them a little bit more. And it's really important that if you feel the person shifting off to one side, to really shoot your hips underneath and kind of get them back to the center, and then you fall to a different side and you're strong again and have that. This is really, you really should try your best not to confuse the position. And don't be afraid to come up to side control and to the mount position. But yeah, we can definitely look at it.
Okay.
You got time?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, let's go. Here we go. Hey. Next up, we're gonna have Gabe, who actually came up from Maryland.
He's from our Alpha Iota chapter.
Yeah, purple belt. We're gonna get him on in a few seconds. So we got Diego walking over there with the camera, walking through. So this is what it's all about, guys.
For the guys, I'm trying to see who's going up.
Really know what's going on right there. For the guys who really didn't know what to expect, this is really the behind the scenes, right? We have models that are black belts, that are higher ranks, teaching some of the newer guys here. They're working on some self-defense right there, you can see. And then on the other side, you have some of the models, sparring, doing some live sessions, 5 minutes on the clock, and it's really like wrestling and open whatever techniques you want to work on. All right, we got Gabe here with us. Gabe, welcome to Lambdas Roll Live, man. So it's a pleasure to have you. Man, you came all the way up from Maryland. How was the trip?
Driving,
Driving.
but just put on the podcast and you just go. I just kept thinking about tonight how after this whole year and a half, it's a blessing to be around the that's it. Luckily, jiu-jitsu is my way of keeping some sanity, some human contact.
I want to say like the last time the three of us was in the same room was like right before the pandemic hit. Yeah, it was like that March, right?
Yeah, we had the open mat in Laurel. What's going on, Mike?
Yeah, like right before the pandemic hit. What's up, Shamar? How you doing? And then so this is it's a blessing. What a year and a half of being away from each other, seeing each other progress, via social media.
I live with X.
So far, how many moves have you had?
There's 6.
First time you go
No, I came up. They were at the other spot.
Oh, you already came to Lambdas? I didn't know that.
Yeah, because we're going to. I might not have just gotten the hybrid. I mean, I know, 2017.
Yeah. I thought this was the first one you were coming up.
No, I think the one.
And I must have not been on that one. That's probably the one I missed. And that's like the biggest one that you guys had.
Oh, 2019.
Yeah.
Okay,
You came with your son.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But yeah, no, he might not have been to that one. It might have been 2010, so I probably wasn't there for that
We
one.
did the one in 2019.
Yep. Yeah, and
I remember I just got my car.
You didn't tell anyone, or did you just text me?
I was happy that it cost me $10.
I texted.
So we've been wanting to have you on the show, and we are definitely going to have a full session with you in order to talk a little bit about your journey and stuff like that. But just give us a brief little background of how you got started in jiu-jitsu, and what are you working on? What are some of your favorite techniques now? What are you working
what
on
you
now?
train out of?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I trained out of the Ford Martial Arts Academy in Frederick, Maryland. Started in 2015. I was kind of going through a life transition. My business pursuits weren't going the way I wanted to, and I decided to start investing in real estate. And I was waiting on I was getting ready to drive back to Florida, and as I'm driving, I turned my car around and I told my dad, "Hey, let's start flipping houses." And I moved back to Maryland, started real estate. And I was like, "All right, I got a new career. Now I need a new hobby or discipline to keep it focused." And, I've always liked sports. I always played a sport, and it was kind of my way of connecting. Like, I moved around a lot. I think I went to like 9 schools, and then UNC was my 10th school. And for me, I mean, the brotherhood aspect was amazing. And anyway, so I just figured, and I studied exercise sports science. I've always loved studying like the laws of nature. And my favorite class in college was biomechanics. So jiu-jitsu ended up being like the perfect sport. My first 2 years, I was just the nail. I was getting smash, and it was like I had no idea what was going on, why they were doing it. Then eventually it was like, oh, this is what they're doing. I just can't stop it. And then eventually it was like, oh, I see it coming. I can stop it, but then they're going on something else. Eventually your defense gets good enough, and you end up playing on top, and anyway, you start to develop parts of the game that you like. I like playing the top position, but I also like playing guard. I like passing. I also like getting sweeps. I think getting sweep.
What would be your favorite sweep? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Probably like the pendulum sweep from a close guard, or like some kind of hook sweep, sumigashi action the other way. So I like combining the two of them. It just depends. Like they both are good against people that are really aggressive against you. Because I'm on the smaller side. I'm 165. All the guys are like 240, so those two help me kind of use their momentum against them. Butterfly and foot on the hip, I like playing because it kind of keeps you protected. Because in the beginning, I mean, I don't know. My coach told me I had probably. I'm not saying this to brag or say anything, but I mean, I believe in certain things that work, and I think if you follow what everyone else is doing, you're probably not doing what the world-class people are doing. And so it's best to study world-class people. I started, what I also loved about jiu-jitsu is it exposed all my limitations, like how I couldn't move well, where I had a lot of weaknesses. I tore my labrum, and I've always had really bad shoulders and bad knees, bad everything. But it wasn't from, I had a weak structure. It was, I had too many muscles that were just unconscious and kind of in sync that I would go super clumsy. And I just figured, I'm just clumsy. But and it's funny, I had a coach in high school who I tripped once like football. He was like, athletes, like you're an athlete, you're not supposed to trip, And I just started digging into it, just figuring out, man, like what's keeping me, because I was always going through a cycle of getting stronger, then getting hurt, getting stronger, then getting hurt, getting stronger, then getting hurt. So I really started to figure out what the hell was I doing, and a lot of it was like listening to other people, following other people's advice, but you can't follow other people's prescriptions. You gotta kind of figure out on your own.
Yeah,
exactly. And maybe about 3 years ago, I started paying attention to like Hickson Gracie and a lot of the meditation stuff. And I've been doing yoga since I was like 18, following like P90X stuff, but I never had that mind-body connection. And now I've kind of dedicated my life to to helping people take back control of their mind, their body, being able to move freely, along with kind of like what I do for work and my other business pursuits. But yeah, luckily jiu-jitsu is there to kind of be that turning point. I know I just kind of went on a rant, but definitely feeling a little bit of flow state from the rolling with these guys. So.
And actually, that was like one of my next questions because I know you do yoga a lot. And how do you think that has helped you like prepare your body for the physical grind that is within jiu-jitsu?
Sometimes I wonder like how easy my life would be if I didn't train because I wouldn't be in pain all the time. So if I don't take time to do like myofascial release, Epsom salt baths, I train about 7 to 10 times a week. So I was teaching. Well, I was teaching because I would teach I would teach 3 classes, and then I would train before each of those classes. So that's 6 sessions alone. I would do a private, and then that's 7. Some days I couldn't help myself from going. And plus, my wife's been in Brazil since the pandemic started, so I kind of gotta do something to fill my time. But then I'm always doing a lot of prehab stuff. Like I'm always, dog. And the other thing I'm tired of like patching up symptoms, so I started to figure out like, who are the strongest people, and I started watching gymnasts and they move. So then I started just figuring out let me do a press handstand, and so for like 3 months I was just spending time working on that skill. But it's been a lot of finding ways to not have to like force myself to exercise and almost like do some like mental jujitsu to just stay consistent, man. Because in the end, it's like if you're not like 1% better a day is better than like going hard for like 2 months and then you're hurt for like 2 months. So just being consistent like that and listening to my body. But the yoga means union. So it's connection of your mind with your body and your energy. So when you align everything together, and I had to make jiu-jitsu a part of me. And when it became a part of me, I never had to like force myself to go train or like to. I mean, some days I just sit down and stretch for like 2 hours because I feel like a little aches. And it wasn't like, oh, I have to spend 15 minutes a day training or like stretching.
Exactly.
So it just kind of became a part of my life, and I don't know.
And you mentioned too that you teach. How do you feel like that has helped your game, like teaching, like classes and stuff like that? How you like using that to like better yourself in your game? Like how do you use teaching?
So I've been a teacher my whole life, and it's funny. Like I crossed as a freshman, and then I was line dean the next year. As a sophomore, I was a line dean. As a junior, I was a line dean, and then again, I was a line dean after I graduated college. So I've always loved that aspect of like working with other people, helping them, like paving the way for the next generation. So teaching, and I was a high school teacher, like strength and conditioning coach. So it's always been up my alley. But absolutely, like, you can't teach something you don't understand, you don't know. And in the beginning, you feel a little bit as an imposter. So you over prepare, and like I'm a instructional junkie. So I believe in paying for coaching, but I'd rather hire a world-class coach than just whoever, and my instructor's amazing. He was in the UFC. And like I train at his gym, not because he's the best jiu-jitsu instructor, just because how amazing a person he is, and he's literally a master in the art of living. Like he is so engaged with the kids, the whole community loves him. So he's a great role model. So people almost just want to be around him just to catch what he's got, But talent, absolutely. But there's.
Did you want to shout out your coach too?
Yeah, Zach Davis before MMA, he's phenomenal. But I started also seeking like world class, like Ryan Hall, Marcelo Garcia, and then the whole Danaher. That squad started coming up. So all the Danaher instructionals, even if it's like $100, $200, like think about how much those people charge for privates. Like I'm a purple belt and I charge $75 an hour for a private. So like I spend $75 or even some of them you get these deals and it's like $20, $30, and you get 8 hours of someone's almost like PhD dissertation, and you just gotta learn how to cut out the bullshit from what's good. And and find someone that speaks to you. Like, hey, I was talking about Hickson Gracie was one, but I started just becoming a student, and I would devour the content, and then I would test it, and I started finding stuff that worked for me. So in the beginning, I was a little bit of a regurgitator, and I would have a little bit of anxiety because I'd have to like prepare and lesson plan and all this for these classes. In the end, like no one cares. Like, they just want to go and strangle each other and roll.
Absolutely.
But now, it's been awesome because my instructor, my coach Zach, he let me start teaching as a blue belt, and now I've been teaching. I don't know if it's been 2 years or 3 years, but like it's now I don't prepare, and I almost like I'll literally watch the class as they're warming up, and we'll see like, okay, they can't do this, so I'll even tweak the warm ups to movements to help them access the moves that we're gonna do that day. And then I'll start working with some mobility stuff that is gonna, like, say we're doing butterfly sweep or something. I'll go over certain mobility things, and then I've gotten better at feeling the sensitivity of where they are and just getting them a little bit step closer. Like when you're teaching a kid to swim, like I used to teach swim lessons to little kids. Like you just give them a little space and you just look at this, pulling away, because you start giving them all this content. And that was a problem with the imposter syndrome. It's almost like I'm only blue belt. I want to validate that I know all this stuff, but who am I trying to impress? Like, it doesn't matter. I just need to give them a little bit and, let them have fun, because if you can just cultivate a really good environment.
Right.
So what I'm trying to say is teaching has helped me really understand myself too, because it's, I also don't want like this bullshit or people giving me like fluff. I just want to know like the truth. I want to know like what works. So what I like to give people is like almost like what's missing in their game. Just give them a little bit, and then let them tinker. And once they can tinker and understand, because it doesn't matter if they know everything if they can't access it when they're training. So then I'll also put them in those specific situations, like start with the fully locked triangle, go, or so I don't know, man. It's a loaded question, but teaching is everything, man. Because we gotta develop all those I'm not gonna call them faculties, but it's almost like we gotta have those abilities, because you just never know who you're gonna reach or who's gonna need your help too.
Yeah, and teaching isn't. I mean, for me, teaching is learning twice, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they say that often. I mean, the more you teach, you have to, like you said, you have to prepare yourself for that particular lesson. So you're kind of reteaching yourself whatever you've learned, and in that process, you discover things you probably didn't pick up before. And in one of the things that I've realized, and again, obviously, no jiu-jitsu practitioner can say I know everything, right? So in the interaction or the exchange of information, you might ask a question that I've never even thought about, and it all of a sudden opens up a different perspective, right? So for me, definitely teaching is a great way to progress, right, and to retain a lot of the information you already have.
And how would you keep a class engaged? Because I was watching like a podcast about jiu-jitsu, and they said that sometimes it's like kind of start with like children, because like if you know your stuff but you're like kind of boring, like they're gonna like drift off into space.
Yeah.
Like what like techniques do you use to keep your class engaged and wanting to continue to learn the content?
I mean, I think it matters like who your audience is, right? You gotta definitely understand who your audience is, and like Gabe was alluding to, like he's looking at people, the way they're doing, the way they're reacting, and you kind of engage their sense of knowledge. So you definitely have to understand who your audience is, and you most likely at this level, you're probably going to be teaching guys who are probably white belts who probably don't know anything. So it's easier to cater to them and developing their fundamentals, their movements, shrimping, basic movements, and the most basic techniques that you would learn. What I usually do now at the movement lab, most of those guys are never really trained before. We're working like simple guard, closed guard. Just work the concepts of the closed guard, controlling the posture, having an active guard, etc. So, you could gauge what your lesson is going to be based on who who you're going to be teaching. So it's really important to do that. Hey, we're going to go to the map because they're going over some technique. Well, Gabe, thank you so much, man. It was insightful.
We'll talk
We'll
more.
definitely have you. Yeah,
We'll talk more next
show.
time. 'Cause I actually gotta.
And I got some any advice for one last question though? Any advice for like a beginner or somebody like myself, like a blue belt that is a instructional junkie, which one would you recommend that we study? Like if we're trying to like what helped you?
No, just like what do you like to do?
Yeah.
What's your like what right now? Like what's your one go-to move? Or if you had to end a fight in 10 seconds, like what are you doing?
I'm going for one. I'm trying to go shoot for a double leg, take them down, pass, and try to get full mount. If it's a fight, obviously try to ground and pound them, hope they turn their back, and then go sink in a rear naked choke. This is like a sequence of things.
Okay, so I'd say work backwards. So start from really good back attacks, and if once they can't escape your rear naked choke, you're gonna have a couple of auxiliary attacks: the arm bar, the triangles, the stuff from the back, or remount. But just start working backwards from there.
Okay.
And as I said, we'll just pick one first.
All right. Well,
Thank you. Appreciate
thanks
it,
a lot, man. Appreciate it.
I don't want to take you too much away from the class. It's going to benefit. So we're gonna try to sign in. We'll try to get Diego to sign in so we can hear some of the good stuff that's going on over there. And let's see. Let's take a quick minute break, and then we'll come back. Hopefully, we get to hear some of the knowledge that's being dropped over there.
Seems like everybody will enjoy it. This is something that takes a lot of peer pressure on the students. And if you're not here at least 3 times a week, you're just here for the cardio, which is cool too, right? You try to add a little cardio to your game, that's what's up. The verbal does it. 3 or 4 times a week, and you're really going to get most out of it. So that's how I feel. That's all.
And honestly, the video about this, go off a little bit, I'll tag them. If you have kids, it's really unique to share with your kids. This is what they can think about it. Right? You share that with them. I have a 3-year-old already sharing martial arts. Right? I want to share something. I play jiu-jitsu with him. He comes. I just play around. He comes to me jiu-jitsu and he takes my leg and he tries to. I take down my phone. He does the same thing. And it's to play. It's to show them that martial arts gives you this level of confidence. That's what it's on. It's something rare. It breeds something different. So you're pushed and you're humble. And then you're pushed. You think you're getting good, and you're humble again. If you think honestly, we know the black belts know here that we're good. We have a certain level of skill. But we know there's always someone out there that kind of just stop into. If you stop into a school where like this, Vito or Marcelo Garcia, or you're going to Florida, Roberto Cyborg or girl, go with that guy and tell me you feel like, oh, you're a black boy, you can roll, you can beat these guys. No, there's always going to be someone better than you. That's the beauty of it. You gotta chase that, chase improvement, chase getting pushed out of your boundaries. Like the same thing you did right there, which is says master. Yeah. So, any other questions?
Yeah, what do you think that is? It sounds like you should have an accountability.
For sure, man. For sure. Right? Even if that person doesn't even know he's your accountability partner, he just becomes it. Oh, you're a trainer?
Omar is the best.
Any other questions?
Jesus for the left, beta zeta. So that's the trend for a while. When was it? Like when did that moment click that you felt like you had a grasp, the understanding of jiu-jitsu? Felt more
Yeah, I mean, you get better and you pick things up, but that's the other thing I'll add on the motivation part. No matter how long you've been training, you're always learning something, fine-tuning something, fixing some details, right? I think I was working with some of the guys back there, and you kind of noticed that a slight little adjustment or detail makes something better. And I was like, I'm 10 and a half years in, and I'm still learning things to this day. That, I mean, at points you'll get, I understand this, I can do this decently, but even part of my game, I'm still seeing things today that make it better and fine tune it. And so like, that's what's awesome about this sport. No matter how good you are, there's always something new to learn, something to refine, something to get better.
I've been in the game a long time. When you say your chapter, can you say your school? What team? What team?
He's looking at me, I don't know either.
Yeah, all in mind, man. It's like, no. No, it's so to answer that question, you are always learning. And where I came from, I started to here in New York, and I moved. I relocated to my job to London, and then I started training under my coach, getting my black belt, and also my first degree, East Ribeiro. And he exposed me to training. Well, I used to go to a gym where there was only one instructor, one black belt, but the affiliation, the team that he was a part of, Checkmate at the time. He's not affiliated with Cyborg, but he still has the mentality of, I want to bring the best.
All right, guys. So you see a lot of good stuff going on. We have Professor Lewis, Omar, and Professor Adam. They're talking with some other brothers, sharing stories with them, giving them some advice. There's a lot of good questions going on, and we're missing out right now. So we wanted to bring some hermanos on to kind of just share with you guys their experience. I mean, there's so many hermanos on there right now, and we want to definitely. The goal was to try to get everybody on here, but I mean, everybody's just right now soaking the knowledge of all the professors that are there right now. So what we're gonna do right now is sign off. We want to thank you guys for allowing us to just share this moment with you guys. Just give you a little brief, you know, peek at what we do backstage, what we do here at the open mats, and being able to train and strengthen each other, empower each other, teach each other self defense, and promote that health and fitness. So, anything else you want to say, Fernando, before we go?
Um, to all the brothers that are interested, I definitely recommend coming out, trying an open mat. It's every time this keeps getting bigger and bigger, and learning a lot. So once again, thank you, Hernan and Diego, for opening your doors to all the different bros from all over, and yeah, let's get after it. Love to meet as many of you that are curious as possible about what we do in jiu-jitsu, and we can all share knowledge and grow this sport together. I'm looking forward to seeing the next generation of black belts within our fraternity.
Oh yeah, for sure. So thank you so much, guys, for spending a little bit of time with us. We will have another session on Sunday. We're going to be having our weekly scheduled webcast, so don't miss out on that. Make sure you tune in on YouTube and Facebook. We're going to get back on the mats. Going to go benefit ourselves, and we're going to get some more rolls in, break a little bit of more sweat. So with that, we're going to sign off. Here we go. Para
Para
siempre.
siempre.